Welcome, everyone. It looks like we've got some people logging in this morning, afternoon for some. We're going to begin in just a moment. All right, well, welcome everyone. It is noon Central Time, which means it's time for our webinar today on project management tips for successful construction projects. My name is Tracy Van Dalsum. I'm the Vice President of Client Experience here at Red Team. Prior to my coming on board with Red Team, I received my master's in construction management from the University of Oklahoma and made my rounds as a project manager to a couple of different commercial construction companies and landed at one that I loved here in Nashville, Tennessee until I moved, at which time I came on board and began my journey into construction tech. I grew up as a daughter of a father is a general contractor and am now fourth generation general contractor in my family. So proud of my legacy in construction and my love for that. And really happy to be here at Red Team and being able to see construction go from a different perspective now that we're in the construction tech side. But joining me today is our founder of Red Team, Michael Wright. Mike, why don't you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar. My name is Michael Wright, as Tracy said, and I'm the founder and Chief Strategy Officer of Red Team Software. But more important than that, and probably more relevant to set some context for today's discussion, is that I am a commercial general contractor, and I've been a commercial GC for nearly 30 years now. And I was glad to hear Tracy talk about her own experience in commercial construction, and certainly, she's got generations of experience. But with her specifically, I know I've got a little bit more experience than her, just in years under my belt walking in these shoes. So today's conversation is about project management tips, and I know that's a very broad topic. And just to kind of give you some context about how we're going to have that discussion. Obviously, we're part of Red Team Software, and we're going to have a bit of a bias just because of that. So we're going to be thinking about some of these challenges and tips in the context of software. And in fact, I know we have a really great group on the call today. Many of you may actually be shopping for project management software, so welcome. I know that's a very difficult and time-consuming thing to do. I know doing demos of different software applications can be pretty tedious at times. So I appreciate you, going through the process, and if we can help, we're happy to help as much as we can. Tracy and I are going to be talking about project management tips, though, from a very unique perspective, from a very distinctive point of view. The way we think about project management is really from a systems perspective. And now systems in and of itself doesn't necessarily mean software. You could be doing these things with a manual process. You could be doing things with spreadsheets. So we're going to try not to be biased about how you actually solve for the different challenges in construction project management. But we're going to talk about it from a systems perspective. And as I said, our bias is going to be talking about it from a software perspective. But we'll try and describe things as what best practices you can adopt and you can consider as you think about your business and the challenges you have to overcome day in and day out.
Well, this leads us.
I would be remiss if I didn't also introduce Red Team. So Red Team has been in business for 16 years. As I mentioned earlier, I am the founder of Red Team Software. And I am a commercial general contractor. So Red Team is clearly a solution that has come from industry. And it came from, really the day-to-day challenges that I had in running my own commercial construction company. And many, many years ago, it occurred to me to start having my team develop some software to help us solve those day-to-day challenges in the business and help us, quite honestly, help us sleep better at night. Construction is a very difficult industry. It's a very difficult business to be in. It can be pretty taxing on the folks that endeavor to build the world that we live in. And so software definitely made a big difference to me and my business. And it was so impactful, in fact, that we decided to spin it off as a separate business entity. Right now, Red Team is managing $18 billion of projects, so we're pretty proud of that. And so even though Red Team may be a relatively newcomer to you as you start shopping for software, and you may not have heard of us before, but we have been around for quite a while, and we do have a fairly large footprint in the industry.
What year was Red Team founded, Mike?
2008.
Yep. So we're not as young as we once were. All right. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges that we see in construction project management in general. We notice that there are several problems that we run into from time to time as we're going through projects where we're dealing with quality, poor estimation, project delays. We're not going to read everything on this slide, but we know that there are challenges that we face on a daily basis. Materials not getting to us on time. You know, COVID came along and kind of threw everything in a tailspin as far as getting things to a project in a timely manner, delays, costs, and funding that we got, you know, so we're going to take a look now. We want you guys to participate with us in this webinar and share with us a little bit of some of the project management challenges that you experience in your day-to-day. And we're going to talk a little bit about those coming up. Mike, as somebody that has been in construction for nearly 30 years, in your experience, what have been some of the major challenges that you've faced in your construction company?
Yeah, we bring up this word cloud, and quite frankly, I think I've experienced every one of these things along the way. I remember many years ago reading construction contracts for the first time, and it was kind of overwhelming when you've got a 30-40 page document and you look at all the different types of things that we try and solve for in construction. And I would say at this point in my career, I probably have a personal experience that relates to nearly every one of the paragraphs in a construction contract. And so I have been around the block a bit. You know, as I take a step back and I think about the top three things that you absolutely have to get right to be successful as a commercial construction contractor. And number one on that list is manage your contracts. At the end of the day, it's not a lot of people think about this, you know, when you write these contract agreements, but the reality is contracts don't have to be written. And so if you don't, the reason we like to write contracts down is because, quite frankly, it's easier to remember. But the reality is contracts don't have to be written. And so if you think about the way your business operates and the way your team members communicate with your customers and your subcontractors and your suppliers, all those words matter. And so all those words can actually create contractual obligations for the company. And so as a contractor, particularly if you're in a role where you may actually be personally guaranteeing the work that's being performed, when you think about all the potential binding agreements that get made in your organization, you know, managing your contracts is got to be one of the top things that you really have a handle on to run your business. Because at the end of the day, if you end up in a dispute, or if you end up, you know, God forbid, if you end up in some kind of litigation, you don't want somebody else making decisions for you based on what they think your promises were. And so it's very important to manage your contracts. Number two, you've got to control the money. And it seems like an obvious thing, but controlling the money is something that it's easy to get lost in the day-to-day challenges on a construction project when you've got challenges coming at you from the left and the right, and you've got, you know, delayed delivery of materials, and you've got, you know, something perhaps installed incorrectly, or you've got a conflict on the plans. At the end of the day, we have to keep in mind that, you know, our job as contractors is also to control the money on the project. And that's something that there's really no shortcuts to that. And number three, you've got to get the work done in the field. That's where money's made. You know, getting things built correctly the first time is paramount. You can't stay in this business very long if you don't know how to build things. And so getting things done in the field, making sure your team members have the information they need to be successful as they're actually constructing the project. That's just essential to being a good contractor. And so those three things, there's really no shortcuts to any of that. And I'm sure all of you have your own reasons and your own experiences in challenges in construction. We did launch the poll, so I'd love to just pop the results up very quickly.
Yeah, let's take a look. All right, coming in number 1 was change management. Coming in number 2 was risk management. Third was actually, no, number 1, they're in order. So number 1 was actually budget management.
Yeah, control the money right there.
Yeah, control the money. Change management also going along
Manage
with
your
controlling the money. Controlling contract and money. Risk management, third, effective collaboration and quality assurance and control tied coming in fourth. So yeah, those are all great. Great.
So as it turns out, my top 3 weren't so mysterious after all. It seems like you're all kind of recognizing the need to do these things. So that's great.
All right, so here is some of the known benefits that we know about construction management software, no matter which one. If you're looking from a software perspective at ways that you can help your business, you're probably looking for certain things. And so no stranger, not particular to Red Team, but many are enhancing collaboration and communication. Many are cloud-based, and so we've got real-time monitoring and analytics. We're streamlining documentation, making sure that we've got everything all in one place and holding people accountable to get the documents completed that need to be completed in a timely manner. Of course, cost controls are built in. You've got things like job cost statements, WIP reports, budget reports, all kinds of cost controls. Change management is included in that. And you've got risk management. A lot of things have a built-in automation where things flow from module to module and help to manage your risk so that things don't fall through the cracks. And then also a safety component built in to make sure that you're operating safely on your job site. So we wanted to launch another poll and actually see which of these actually resonates most with you. So we're going to do that at this time and take just a few seconds and let us know which of these resonate most with you.
So I think we could probably jump to the next slide while people are answering this particular poll. I think, we all start this process at some point in our career where we're looking for solutions and we have a vision for the types of benefits that we can get at the end of that path down finding a solution. And so really it is challenging, as I mentioned earlier. It's challenging to shop for software. It's challenging to sit through software demos and really get a sense of which solution is going to be best for your business, for your organization, for your team members. So choosing the right construction project management software is no small task. And like I said, it's a lot of work and it's very time consuming. And we don't have a magic bullet as to how to find the thing that's going to be best for your organization. I will tell you that buying software today is very different in the software as a service world than it used to be, many, many years ago when I started my career. Back in the old days, we would buy software. It was an off-the-shelf product and you used it on your local network or your local workstation. It was a very different experience, and you were hopeful that, one day the software would evolve and meet your changing needs as time went by. In our software as a service world, the cycle on updating software is very short now. And indeed, in many applications, we actually see updates that are occurring, every 6 months or sometimes every month. And so software is something that lives, breathes, and evolves. And so if you take a step back and you think about, how do you choose software in a world where the software is constantly changing and where various software vendors are trying to one-up each other on features and functions, it can be very difficult to make a decision in that context. And so the thing I always suggest to people is that they really look for a team, a software vendor team that understands their problems, it has the same, seems to share the same values, has the same kind of viewpoint and philosophy about how to solve problems and how to create infrastructure to support your business. And if you find people that you relate to, I think that is a very important aspect of choosing one solution over another. And so at the end of the day, find people that you're comfortable with and find people that you think have a good understanding of your businesses and the challenges you face. And I think that's a relationship that's going to be successful over the long term.
I think that's one of the most important things to us, here at Red Team is the relationships that we have. We really do see ourselves at Red Team as an extension of your business and a teammate. The software, the great thing about software is that it shows up to work for you 24/7. And so you've got a tool that's available for you in real time because it is cloud-based. And so I know from Red Team, those relationships are really important. Feedback from clients is really important to us as we are looking to make updates to our software platforms. Knowing how it's being utilized in real life helps. And so we make a lot of decisions on what the updates are based on the feedback that we get from our clients. And so that relationship matters to us and are very grateful for the feedback that we receive and what we're able to do with that as we look towards our future as a company and what our clients need most in a software solution. So thank you for that. Nicole, you want to pop up the results to that poll and let's take a look at what.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of feedback, let's take a look.
All right. Reasons for choosing a software solution. Number 1 was cost control and budget management. 2 was streamlining documentation and accountability. 3rd was enhancing collaboration and communication. That's a big one. And then again, tied was real-time monitoring and analytics and risk management and safety compliance. Yeah, great. Thank you so much for taking that poll.
Yeah, again, I think we see a lot of controlling the money. So not only is it a challenge that has to be dealt with, but it's also a vision among many of you who are actually now participating in this webinar.
Yeah, well, and we're not going to do a demo today. We are going to be sending out an email after our webinar today that's going to have a short demo clip in it. But I do want to spend a little bit of time here as we look at these 7 things here of what you want to consider as you're building or getting ready to purchase a software solution, and speak to how Red Team Go, one of our offerings, solves a lot of these. So one of them is project management. One of the ways that we have built in project management tools and managing our day-to-day is with our schedules and daily logs. We take a proactive approach to managing the construction schedule. Tasks are assigned to subcontractors or to your team if you're doing self-performing. And we put a lot of responsibility on the site superintendent to keep up to date the daily logs, and our schedule is built in and fed right into the daily logs. So we get that real-time monitoring of what's going on site. And we know every day of things that can impact the potential schedule of the project.
So task management, obviously that's really important to getting people to the right place at the right time with the right materials. Something that isn't always thought about as part of task management is keeping track of what those task assignments have been in the past, and knowing whether or not those things have been executed. Let's face it, people have mobile devices, they've got tablets, they've got computers. They're going to coordinate their activities one way or another. And that the challenge to a contractor that could in fact become an existential challenge to a construction business is losing sight of what have those communications been. If one of the advantages of having a platform solution is keeping track of all those assignments on a single platform, as opposed to distributed on someone's text messages, on WhatsApp, on various forms of communication that are essentially uncontrolled. And so consolidating that task assignment process onto a single platform benefits contractors, not just in getting people to the right place at the right time, but it also creates a very important record of performance on a project over time.
And that kind of leads into the second bullet point here, which is the document control and making sure that you've got a space for any kind of documentation that goes back and forth on the project. We have no shortage of paper in the construction industry, and that's part of what we wanted to help control within our software solutions is managing that documentation. We've got online plan rooms with abilities to split plans and markups and overlay and version control, as well as being able to create subcontract agreements and owner contract agreements, owner billing forms, RFIs, meetings, submittals, all the paper, and being able to have a solution that really keeps all of those nice and tidy and in one place is very important.
Yeah, we can't help but call them documents. And Tracy and I still think of them as paper, but the truth is a lot of these things may never actually be printed. And so doing things in an electronic way end to end doesn't mitigate or doesn't relieve us of putting together documentation and making sure that contracts are whole and complete and that they get properly executed. And so even if they never get printed, it's very important to have tight control over the creation and flow of those documents, as well as the metadata associated with how those documents were shared, viewed, and executed. All of this, just like the task management in the first bullet, all of this is really important documentation for your project record. And so capturing these things in real time along the way is essential to protecting your business, protecting your clients, and protecting your subcontractors, quite frankly.
And finding a solution that has built-in electronic signatures helps to keep everything time and date stamped, and that metadata that Mike just talked about, making sure that we've got all of that documentation held within the software of who signed what when, and that's all built into the platform as we're talking about Red Team Go this morning and how that helps. And the third bullet point here is budgeting and cost controls. Are subcontractors able to submit billing through the system? Are you able to enter in all of your cost commitment, including expenses and purchase orders, subcontracts, of course, and then being able to have those be pulled automatically into your budget reports, like job cost statements, overall budget reports, so that your project managers and accountants have real-time information of what's going on with the costs on your projects.
Yeah, so real time can be a confusing concept sometimes because you don't necessarily need to watch transactions occurring. The key to real time is that it's right when you look at it. And so it's at that time of day when you need the information, you just need to be able to look and have the information at your fingertips, and trust and know that that information is up to date. And so not having to go search or request reports from the accounting department, for example, having the information always correct all the time and always visible to you is really nothing short of transformational for your experience of managing projects. It's one less thing you have to worry about and do in your day.
Yeah, and that leads us right into reports, and automation of those reports, as Mike just said, is so very important, so that you don't have to spend your valuable time creating a report that you need to communicate to your project team. So in the systems that we provide, we've got built-in reports that you can have all the way from bidding reports, contracts, and then as we get into our project management functionality, we've got all kinds of logs, RFI logs, submittal logs, change management logs, budget adjustment logs, and all the different kinds of reporting that we have. We can parse those down into, is there a log just for subcontractors? Is there a report just for owners? And so you've got all kinds of reporting tools that are going to be at your fingertips in a cloud-based software solution as well.
And while you may not look at those reports every day, knowing what you have helps you understand what kind of information is in the project record.
Collaboration tools are very important. We talk a lot about the problem that exists in our industry, focused a lot around collaboration and making sure that the right parties are getting the right information at the right time. And one of the things that Red Team Go was trying to solution when it was being developed was making sure that the general contractor is in the center of the flow of the communication that goes out between all parties involved, so that nothing happens on the site without the general contractor knowing about that. And those real-time collaborations, being able to send emails right through the platform that are tracked and captured right on the project. Being able to communicate daily logs and the schedule of any updates that are happening, being able to do have a subcontractor in the field that has a question that can submit them right through the platform into the GC. And then if the GC can answer them, great. But if they need to be forwarded on to an architect or engineer for more information, we can do all of that as a collaboration right through the system, which is really great.
Yeah, making it simple for people to communicate is really the reason that platforms have become so popular. And when the communication is simple, then the communications themselves become very valuable over time. But what's also important is what was not communicated. And so, if there's an issue that gets described in a communication, that's useful information. If there's something that someone says happened, but there's no communication on it, that in and of itself is a story as well.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that you might be looking for as you're evaluating software solutions is bid management. In our system, everything starts in the bidding module. Even if you've already bid the project outside the system, you come in and you put it in, and we've got things like estimate templates that are built in. We have the ability right through the platform to send out bid invitations. You can manage your plan room, as we talked about a little bit earlier, and every bidder that you invite has access to that plan room online to be able to download and pull up the drawings that you've saved into the plan room and look through those before they submit their bids back in through the platform. You've got the ability inside the software to compare subcontractor quotes and choose the best one for your project, put together your final estimate, and then create a custom proposal package on the other side. So you look very professional when you're having your meetings with your owner and hopefully winning your projects. But we've got a wonderful bidding tool that helps to put together that package for you as well.
I think we're all more and more these days doing construction management types of projects. So the ability to solicit quotations and resolicit quotations and go through an iterative process and supporting our clients and getting the project to where it's within their budget, within their time frame, and satisfy and in a form factor that satisfies their business requirements for that particular project. That's where we add value as contractors.
And last but not least, cloud-based. We have moved away into this SaaS world with software as a service. And one of the things that you should be looking for is it cloud-based? Is it available in real time? Can I be anywhere in the world with internet access and be able to see what's going on my project? And so it makes that real-time communication and the ability to stay really involved and up to speed on your project from anywhere you are with a cloud-based solution.
So cloud-based solutions is a really important thing to really understand when you're looking for a platform, and because it makes a big difference to the amount of work that is going to be required of your team to deploy and manage that solution. And so it's very important that you understand the differences and understand that if you buy a complete turnkey solution that is fully hosted on your behalf, and you don't have to do anything, there are cost savings related to not having to maintain your own servers or software updates. And so all those things have to be factored into how you evaluate, one option versus another.
We had an opportunity back in May to have one of our clients, Phil Pace with the Conseco Group here in Nashville, Tennessee, join us for a webinar that we hosted for potential clients and clients. And they have such a great success story of using Red Team Go as a tool for their business. They've been in business for nearly 40 years now and were actually the first user of the Red Team Go platform when it began back in 2004. And so they have some really wonderful things to say. We've got a quote here from Phil that we don't need a week to turn around between receiving funds from the owner and giving it to the subcontractor anymore. We need less than an hour, and just goes to the time savings that a cloud-based solution can have for you and efficiencies that you're going to gain. And I won't read through this slide. You guys can read, but some of the highlights that they experienced in using the software was that they achieved the 50% bid success rate, were able to increase their profitability by 2%, and manage over $80 million worth of projects in one quarter. So it really does cut down on the staff and make those high dollar projects much more manageable when you can manage the project using a software solution. Okay, well, this is wrapping up a lot of what we wanted to talk to you about today. We are going to be sending out an email after our webinar. We've got a 5-minute demo that's going to be attached to that on the Red Team Go platform. So we encourage you to open up that email, watch that demo. You can download that and circulate it to different team members within your company as you're looking to evaluate software solutions. And we'd love to talk to you. If you're interested in seeing a live demo with one of our representatives, we would love that. We would love to get to know you and start our relationship with you. So you'll see a QR code up on your screen. You can use your smartphone and scan that code, and that'll take you right to a screen where you're going to be able to sign up for a live demo with us here at Red Team, and take a look at the Red Team Go platform and how it might be able to be a great solution and opportunity for you and your business. We're going to open it up at this time and see if anybody has any specific questions that you'd like for us to answer on anything that we've talked about, or would love to hear from you if you've got some experiences to share or thoughts as you're going through your purchasing process of a software. We'd love to hear a little bit from you. If you have a moment, you're going to notice on your Zoom toolbar that you have a Q&A box. If you'll click on that and type in your question, we'll be watching for those to come in, and we'll spend a little bit of time here in Q&A.
Okay, we do have a question. We use AIA contracts with our owners. Does this platform allow us to utilize AIA contracts? Tracy, would you like to answer that?
You know I would. I love this question. So yes, we do have AIA compatibility within the software. Red Team Go itself doesn't have every single AIA contract known to man programmed in the software, but we do have a lot of the most used ones that are in the system. So if you have an unlimited single seat AIA license, we can turn those contracts on for you within the platform, and you'll be able to utilize owner contracts. We've got the A401 subcontract. We've got the G702 and 703 owner billing forms. We've got the G702. G701 is the change order form. So we have a lot of those already pre-programmed, and we can enter in your expiration date and turn those on for you to utilize during your licensing term. Great question. Thank you.
Okay, here's another question from Robert. Do you have any advice or training for getting not so sophisticated or technology adverse subs on board? Great question.
Great question. Great question. Mike, do you want to take that one, or do you want me to take it?
I think you can take this one.
Yeah, we might be able to both share our experience.
Yeah.
Well, I know for me, one of the things that I did actually when I was a project manager for the commercial construction company I worked for here in town was it was part of my role to onboard Red Team Go for our company at the time. And so as a part of that, it is, how am I going to get my subcontractors to use this bright, shiny new tool that is going to help me with my efficiency? How am I going to pull them on board and get them to use the software? And I really found that it's a relationship. You know, relationships are important to us as contractors as well, that we have with our subcontractors and vendors. And so we want to maintain that relationship. And a lot of time, if you're thinking about putting the hammer down and saying, no, you will do this, they're going to be a little bit resistant. But if you approach it more like, hey, we've got this new tool that's going to make us more efficient. We've got a way for you to electronically submit your bills to us. We've got a way for you to electronically submit your bids that's going to make our processes go faster so that I can spend less time on the paperwork and the document management and go out and get more work. Can you partner with me in that? And it's flipping that conversation from a you must do this to, can you partner with me so that I can go get us more work and spend more time doing that than spend more time doing the paperwork. And so I've found for me personally, doing a little bit of hand holding, changing the conversation to a, will you partner with me? Are you on board with helping me go get more work so that I can keep us working? I felt like that made a big difference in making it the partnership and the relationship between the two of us, than you will do this for me. Now you can do that. I encourage everybody to put contract verbiage in in your subcontract agreements that they would use the system that you want and turn in their bills the way that you want, because it makes you more efficient. So I would encourage you to build that into your subcontract agreement and then hold them to it. If they're trying to submit bills outside the system, gently remind them, hey, if you could submit this electronically, hey, come in here, sit down next to me, let me help you with this. Or Red Team Go's got a fantastic subcontractor support system. Just chat with them and they'd be happy to talk you through the process. And because we do have chat representatives that are live and active for your subcontractor support as well. And so if they're having challenges using the system, we're happy to help with that as well. But that's just my take on getting subcontractors to use the system. Make it about the relationship you have with them and the partnership, and they will do it. I have a story. We all have stories. But I had a subcontractor, Dave. He was my favorite drywall contractor. I used him on just about every project, and he was very resistant to doing it. And I said, Dave, come sit next to me. Let's do it together. Let me show you how easy it is. So he came in probably for 6 months straight every time he had to submit a progress bill. And we sat down, we did it together. Then I handed him his check and he walked out the door. And fast forward about a year, and he told me, oh my goodness, I'm so glad you walked me through this process. It's so easy. I don't do any work for general contractors in Nashville anymore that don't have Red Team Go. And so that's a great success story. Not all subcontractors are going to be malleable like that and mold into doing what you want them to do. But I do believe that as we move more and more into technology, you've got more and more subcontractors that know how to use technology, and they will do it. You may have to give them a little love and a little extra attention, but they will do it. Great question. Thank you for submitting that.
Yeah, great answer. And I think the only thing I would amplify there is that we do support your subcontractors. So we do provide. So part of the service we provide is to support with chat support your subcontractors if they encounter any challenge in interacting with you on the platforms. We're supporting them, and it doesn't have to involve you. We'll make sure that they get the work done for you.
Yeah, I mean, we've got all kinds of online resources. We have online videos that your subcontractors can watch and self-help to learn how to do the processes. We've got knowledge-based instructions with step-by-step instructions. So we've got tools and resources to support you in that as well. Thanks, Mike.
So Tracy, we've got an anonymous question, and it sounds like it may be a follow-on after that question about the AIA contracts. It says we have our own templates for proposals and contracts. Is that something that we can upload into Red Team?
Oh, that's a great question. So we are just right now releasing a brand new owner contract module where clients can create their own owner contracts and be able to sign and send those out electronically through the platform. So yes, you would have an ability to come in and create your own custom owner contract. We do also help you by programming your subcontract agreement. And then yes, we do have custom proposal package. So we have wonderful bidding reports that we can use that auto generate as you're going through the bidding process that you can use in a proposal package. But if you've had a really nice qualification package put together by a graphic designer and you want to include that in your Red Team Go proposal package, we do give you a way to pull files off your hard drive in with the documents that we can provide for you in the proposal. You can sort them into the order that you want them to be in, so that puts together a really nice package. And then when you send it over to your owner, it compiles all the PDF documents into one PDF and sends just one compiled document over as a proposal package to your owner. So yes, we do have a way to do that. That's a great question. Thank you.
I've got a couple questions that I'm actually going to combine, because one of them is about subcontractors submitting their billing directly. And another one is about lien waivers. And so, and I think, Tracy, you've already talked about it when you talked about the relationship with subcontractors. Yes, that's definitely functionality that we provide. And some of the key benefits of your subcontractors entering their progress billing directly into the platform is that they're billing only against the schedule values that you've put into their subcontract agreement. And they're not going to be billing you for change orders that haven't been let yet. and they can't overbill you. It handles all the math so that you don't have to correct any math errors on the calculation of retainage. And probably a really big one is the lien waivers, the ability to execute lien waivers and get those things signed online. That's a huge help. And yes, the platform does support all of that.
Yep. How many of you have had subcontractors that have snuck in a change order on you and it shows up on a bill and you don't even recognize it and you pay it and you're like, wait, I never approved that. How many of you have done that? And how many of you have to go around chasing your subcontractors for their partial and final lien waivers? I mean, we've all been there. We all have done that, and we know what a headache that is. And, you know, as we're talking about cost control, and one of the ways that your software solution can help you manage your costs, it's that, you know, we're not ever going to let a subcontractor overbill you. They can only bill up to their contract amount plus any change orders that you have approved and sent to them. And then as a part of the subcontractor billing process, after they submit their bill, it automatically pops up their lien waiver that they electronically sign and submit at the same time that they're submitting their bill to you, so you don't have to go chasing it around. So it's one of the soapboxes that I love to get on and talking about and getting excited about Red Team Go as a solution is contract management, including changes and including the billing process. It's worth every penny for those three things. Great questions. Thank you.
So Tracy, I've got a question here, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing the name incorrectly. It's Aldai. And it's a great question, and it's actually a question that we get a lot over time. As a 24-year-old project manager who wants to expand my father's construction company, what's one advice that I can use? And I'm going to add a second. You actually published two. What advice can I use to expand this company?
Yeah. Well, congratulations on continuing your dad's legacy. That's as a daughter of a contractor, I love that. I love legacy. So congratulations on that. And for knowing that you need probably a project management solution to help you do that, to help you expand and to help you grow that business. I think having a construction management software platform help you is a big way to do that, because using a software really helps to save about 30% of your time in a week on a project. And so having that time savings allows you to control your overhead costs, where you might not need to hire as many people because the software does a lot of the document control and things that take people that you need manpower for to process bills, to get all of your documents in and manage and administrate that document control process. You need somebody that can sit there and do that. If the platform is doing that for you, you don't have to hire somebody to do that. And so I would say that one of the big ways that you can expand your business is by getting a software solution. And shameless plug that we would love to help you do that. So sign up for a demo. We'd love to talk to you. Mike, what do you?
I would say, I would say you're definitely in good company. I will tell you that one of the top reasons that people come and speak with Red Team is that they have a story very much like yours. You know, they're relatively young into the business. Maybe they're oftentimes coming in, succeeding family members who have been running the business for many years. And they just take a hard look at how things are being done. And they're convinced that there's got to be a better way to do some things. And so that's one of the top reasons that people tell us that they're looking at a platform solution, because they just know that there's a way to operate more efficiently. And it's true, as Tracy described. And so definitely it's one of the primary reasons that people go out and look for a solution, because they know that there are better ways to do things, more efficient ways to do things. And that there's an opportunity to grow a business that has a great reputation and a great legacy. And they just want to make some improvements and really bring that business and make it successful for another generation. Okay, Tracy, we have one last question, and I think it's a quick one. It's how applicable is this information for new businesses such as a 5-man crew? I think it's really for a new business is perhaps the biggest is the biggest criteria there.
Yeah, well, I think any software solution is going to be great for a small crew because of the time savings I mentioned when answering one of the last questions that we had, because it really does take the place of a person. And so it allows a small team to really be able to move a little bit more efficiently. Another great thing for a small company is that with software, you've got built-in repeatable processes that are the same on every single project that you're going to do, from bidding all the way through closeout. You've got a process in place that you're going to follow every single time. And what that does for you is that helps you to manage your information so that it makes sure that the information that you're putting in bidding, and you're building your scope, and you're creating an owner contract and or proposal package and an owner contract, and making sure that there's no loss of information from the time that we presented the proposal to getting that into contract, and then having that auto-populate into your subcontract agreements. It's going to help you manage your risk. As a small company, those are the tools that you need. You don't have time to focus on everything. You're focusing on so many different things. And so this takes a lot of the guesswork out of what do I need to do, because you've got a process that you're going to follow every single time. And so one of the things that's hard to do as a small company is that you wear multiple hats. The owner is also the superintendent, is also the project manager, is also the accountant. And that's one of the reasons why we developed the software, is to help small companies to really be able to move forward. How do you grow your business and expand your business while being so in the weeds? And the process with software is that now you've got a base on how you're going to do every single project, and you run it that way every time, and that helps free up your time so that you can do the things that you need to do. And so, yes, I think it's a wonderful solution for a small company.
I'll just add a couple of things to that. As someone who did own a very, very small business at one time in the construction industry, I wish I had had a platform solution back then, because I think it would have helped me grow my business even faster. I will also say, from an empirical standpoint, another source of new clients for us is people who have left a contractor that had a platform solution, and they realize how important it is to manage all that information on in a very structured, repeatable way, as Tracy was describing it. And so that's there's no better way to look like a bigger business than to have the right infrastructure. And so another good incentive to have a solution, even if you are a small business, is to look like a bigger business. Look like you've got your infrastructure in place, you're better organized, and you're prepared to take on a larger and larger project.
Yeah, and I want to say, probably from January until now, we've had such an influx of new companies that are spinning out on their own, where they've been a part of another construction company, and they decided, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to do this on my own. And they have, some of them have come from software, some of them haven't come from software, but we've got probably 5 or 6 right now that are coming through our implementation program that did come from software and realized how important it was, and turned right around and got it for their brand new business. So I'm so proud of them. Good, really, really good decision there as you're starting off as a brand new company, to have the infrastructure Mike just said in place to help you grow. Yeah.
So Tracy, I think we're actually at about time at this point.
Yeah, we are. And those were all wonderful questions. So thank you for those. If you've got more questions, again, we've got the QR code on your screen. Scan that. We'd love to talk with you in a demo and show you some more in-depth tools that we have available for you to help you in your business and to help you grow and to succeed. Thank you so much for joining Mike and I today, taking a little bit of your day to spend with us and to hear a little bit about how you need to manage your projects and the struggles that you face, and how there are solutions available to help you. We appreciate that very much, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Take care.